Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Wassce Tutorials, we say where mathematical literacy begins. Alright, so today we are coming to solve the 2025 Wassce called Mathematics. That's question 2. So let's see how it goes. Kindly please share, subscribe, comment, and like my videos. Alright, so let's see. Question 2. A market trader invested some amount into accounts which pay 11% and 10% simple interest annually. The amount invested at 11% is 140% of the amount invested at 10%. After 3.5 years, she earned a total of 22,580 Ghana cedi 60 pesos as interest. How much was invested at 11%? So let's see. Solution. So you can see that let the amount invested at 10% be equal to, let's see, alpha. Now, the amount invested is called the principal, or we can say that the amount borrowed, or the initial amount what deposited. I will clear here. The amount borrowed, or the amount invested, or the initial amount what deposited. So that's the principal. And we have simple interest is equal to principal times rate times or the time all over 100, where the rate is always in percentage and the time is in years. So kindly please take note of that. So when they give you the time in months, you change that to what? Years. So simple interest is equal to principal times rate times time all over 100. So that's how we are going to calculate it. So which means that this is the principal, this is the principal given. That's the principal given. So let the amount invested at 10% is equal to alpha, which is the principal. Because it says something here. The amount invested at 11% is 140% of the amount invested at 10%. So if you know the amount invested at 10%, you automatically get the amount invested at what? 11%, because it's 140% of the amount invested at what? 10%. So now here, so we let the amount invested at 10% to be equal to alpha, which is the principal. Now, then the amount invested at 11% should be equal to 140% times alpha. Okay? Then the amount invested at 11% equals 140% times alpha. And 140% is just 140 over 100 times alpha. This one cancels. 14 divided by 10 is 1.4 alpha. And this is the same as the principal. I will clear here. So this is the same as the principal. Now, let's go back again. A market trader invested some amount into accounts which pay what? 11% and 10% simple interest annually. So let's see. Now, our simple interest, or let's say interest is equal to what? The principal times the rate times the time all over what? 100. Okay, so rate is always in percentage, so that's why we divided by what? 100. So let's see, at 11%. So let's see, at 11%. Okay, let's start with 10%. At 10%, that's the first thing. At 10%, how do we find for the interest? Interest is equal to the principal here is what? Alpha times the rate. The rate is 10%. So that's 10 times the time. Check the time here. It said after 3.5 years, she earned a total. She earned a total of 22,580 Ghana cedis, 60 pesos. So that's the 3.5 years. So 3.5 years is 3.5 years, all over what? 100. Now, 0 cancel what? 0. So we have our interest. We have our interest to be equal to 3.5 divided by 10 is just 0.35 what? Alpha. That's 0.35 alpha. That's the interest at 10%. Now let's see at 11%. What will be the interest? So we can see that interest is equal to our alpha. The principal is 1.4 alpha times our rate is 11 times the time, which is still 3.5 years, all over 100. Then our interest will be equal to let's see, 1.4 to 1.4 times 11 times 3.5 divided by 100, and this will give us 0.539 alpha. So now this is the interest at 11%, 0.539 alpha. Alright, so now we are saying that after 3.5 years she earned a total, so which means a total at 10% and at 11%, the interest. So we add the two interest there. So we can say that the interest in what? 10% plus the interest in what? 11% should be equal to this total interest here. So let's go. So the interest here is 0 points. So we can see that now. So now 0.35 alpha plus 0.539 alpha should be equal to 22,580.60. Okay, so the interest here at 10% should be plus the interest at 11% should be equal to 22,580.60. So when we add up 0.35 plus 0.539, so when we add up we get 0.889 alpha, which is equal to 22,580.60. So now we want alpha, so we divide by 0.889, then here too we divide by 0.889. So our alpha will be equal to 22,580.60 divided by 0.889, and this will be equal to 25,400. 25,400. Well, now here they said we should get how much was invested at 11%. So at 11%, the simple interest, sorry, the principal there is what? 1.4 alpha. So at 11%, we have the principal to be 1.4 with alpha. So at 11%, principal is equal to 1.4 alpha. So this is 1.4 times 25,400, and this will be equal to 35,560 Ghana 6. So at 11%, the principal is 1.4 alpha, and the principal is the amount invested, like I said. So 1.4 times the alpha is 25,400, and we get 35,560. So please, if you don't understand, please play back the video for better understanding. See you in our next video. Bye bye.